So I was looking at my channel recently and I just noticed I actually broke 80 subscribers. I have 82 and I just wanted to thank you guys for that. You're truly awesome and I couldn't have done it without you. And now without further ado, let's get on with the show. As you can probably tell by the intro, I do in fact have 80 subscribers now. And I just want to take this time to thank each and every one of you for subscribing to this channel, for whatever content you're subscribed for. It really means a lot to know that 80 people care about what I have to say on YouTube, and you know, that makes me pretty happy. Also, it's finals week, but I do have a backlog of content right now, and my roommate actually moved out early, meaning I have my dorm room to myself. So I figure now is probably a good time to start narrating and uploading all my stocked up content, which is good news for you if you like my content, and good news for me because I haven't uploaded anything in a while due to being busy with studying for finals, like I said before. Anyway, what's going on, guys? Ryan here, and today I have a pretty good OU battle. Had this battle on the Pokemon Showdown OU ladder, of course, because that's where I go when I want to get my Pokémons on. Using that rain team again with the Jinx and the Subcom Rachi and stuff and things. I think it's a pretty fun team, and I like it a lot, so that's what we're going to be rolling with today. Had this battle versus some guy named Chidori Blast, but he does have a YouTube channel. So the title's going to say Aura5777 because that's his YouTube channel, and you are free to go check him out, but I'll talk more about all of that towards the end of this video. This is a bit of a longer match because of a little bit of a stally part you guys are going to see. I do end up stalling a little bit, but overall I think this was a pretty good match, and yeah. So looking at his team, I don't really see anything that pops out as an immediate threat just because my team is actually really good at handling other rain teams. But we'll see what happens, so let's go ahead and click the play button. So I lead off with my Tornadus regular form, as I normally do, because I was expecting him to lead with Politoed, but he actually leads with Landorus. And I decide it's actually worth it to go for Hurricane here and risk the miss, because he's either going to set up Stealth Rocks or a U-turn. I doubt he's going to go for Stone Edge or HP Ice first turn, because he wants to gauge what kind of player I am. And my ballsy play actually works, as I'm able to hit the Hurricane outside of Rain and take down that Landorus turn 1. He goes into his Clefable, and I know these things tend to be especially defensive, and I know the T-Wave is probably coming, because I have used one of these before, and they're basically the lower tier version of Chansey, except they tend to use Knockoff, and a few other moves that Chansey don't tend to carry, but whatever, it's fine. So I'd go into Politoed because I figure it's going to be my most useless thing because I do have my Tentacruel and my Jinx to deal with his Gyarados and the Scizor, so I'm not really worried about it. He knocks off my leftovers and paralyzes me. And I'm just going to go for Parasong to force this thing out. There's no reason to Toxic it because these do have Magic Guard, meaning it does not take toxic damage, and he can basically absorb any status for free. So yeah. I do Protect after I Parasong just to waste a turn, and he's going to go into his Politoed, as this time I'm going to go for Scald, not hoping for a burn, but just trying to get off some damage, because I figure, even though I'm defensive, it's still a rain boosted Scald. But either way, he switches into his Politoed, takes the Scald, doesn't get burned, and now he's actually going to pull a double, knowing I'm forced to switch this turn because of my own Parasong, and he's going to go into his Gyarados. I decided the best thing for me to switch in was Tentacruel, so that's what I'm going to go to. And like I said, I didn't predict the double or anything, there was no point. So he's actually going to go for the sub here, and I know these things tend to carry sub DD or taunt DD. I'm actually glad he's sub, because once I find out what his coverage moves is, if it happens to be that he's running Waterfall and Bounce, I can actually stall him out with Jinx if I get into a position where we're both behind substitutes. So we'll see if that ends up happening, but for now I'm just going to go for 2 Scalds and break the sub, as he's going to set up to +1. That doesn't scare me at all. I still have a Politoed at pretty much full health that can take anything he wants to do. So this turn, I'm going to switch into said Politoed just in case his coverage move happens to be Earthquake or Stone Edge, because I don't want my Tentacruel getting worn down this early in the match, as he's just going to sub again. That's fine with me. So at this point, I really have no reason not to go for the Parasong. It's my most optimal play, and I still want to see what his coverage move is. He does reveal here that it's going to be the Bounce, which is actually really good for me, because it just means I can deal with this thing with my Jinx one-on-one later on in the game if I need to. So I go for Perish Song as he goes for Bounce, and this turn I actually get paralyzed on the Protect that I tried to go for, and he's able to get off 53% with that Bounce. Now, this is a problem for me because I really shouldn't have had to take that unnecessary damage, but at the same time, like I said, this Politoed really isn't going to be that useful to me, so I don't really care one way or the other if it gets worn down. So now I'm just going to go for Scald again, because it's in the rain, and I don't... Oh, wait, no, wait, what am I saying? I switch out because I know he's going to switch out, is what I'm trying to say. I'm silly. And I decided to double into my Jinx just in case he wants to go for the Waterfall. That's what I meant to say. So he ends up going for the... He switches out into Fortress, and I'm just going to put that thing to sleep with the Lovely Kiss, as it is the best play I can possibly make. As this turn, I'm just going to set up a substitute, knowing he's going to bring in the Scizor. And now, I'm actually going to switch out with my substitute up, because the Scizor is forced to either Bullet Punch or Pursuit, and I don't want to get Pursuit trapped. So my best play is to switch out while my sub is still up, and actually go to my Jirachi, hoping he locks himself into Bullet Punch or Pursuit, because most Scizors tend to be Choice Banded, and if he does do one of those, I can easily set up a free substitute and go from there, and hopefully set up a little and sweep his team. I'm going to go for the substitute here, thinking that he's locked into the Bullet Punch, but no, he surprises me and actually goes for the U-turn. And yeah, so he's not Choice Banded Scizor. That's great information to have for later, because that means Tentacruel can definitely beat it one-on-one if need be. Granted, he's not Swords Dance, although if he is granted he's not Sword Dance Lumberry, because Scald is a thing that tends to burn and blah blah blah. Anyway, he goes into this Politoed, and I don't want anything to take a Scald, so I'm just going to go into Tentacruel and absorb the Scald. I do get burned, which sucks, and here, if you'll notice, he's actually not getting Leftovers recovery, but I wasn't paying attention at the time, and he did go for Scald, so I just thought he was defensive, as mine is, but that's not going to be the case, as you'll see later. So, because I didn't see an item, he's probably choiced in some way, either Scarf or Specs, and that Scald didn't really do too much to my Tentacruel, but the Tentacruel is a specially defensive monster, so there's no real way for me to tell. As now, I'm going to lay down 2 layers of Toxic Spikes. I really don't know why I did this, except to maybe help wear down the Politoed just a little, because in hindsight, none of his team is really affected by Toxic Spikes, considering Clefable has Magic Guard. So I guess this was just a safety net to make sure I could stall out the Politoed if I really needed to. And yeah, so he does Scald burn my Tentacruel, like I said, and he did knock off my Black Sludge, meaning the Scald will actually be able to wear me down now, because I'm not getting back enough recovery to the point where I can basically ignore the burn damage. So this turn, I'm just going to go into my Politoed one more time, go for the Perish Song, no reason not to, as before. And I don't know why, but he actually switches out this turn and goes into his Fortress, probably thinking, hey, since I'm asleep, I won't get burned. But I really don't know why he went into it to spin, because like I said, there's absolutely no need, unless he wants to try some stally stuff with Politoed, which kind of reconfirms my suspicion that he was defensive. But like I said, I wasn't paying attention. So now, I'm just going to switch into my Jirachi, knowing he's forced to get at least 1 turn of sleep, and really, normally a Fortress can't do much versus a Jirachi, so I think now is a really good time to start setting up substitutes and Calm Mind and such. But he actually does get the pretty much what is considered a first turn wake in 5th gen, because he got his guaranteed turn and then woke up immediately, as he actually reveals to me that he carries the Earthquake, which is not common on Fortress, but it does make sense because Earthquake can catch Magnezone off guard and easily take it out. So I'm not going to knock this guy. That's a very viable moveset. Anyway, I'm going to go for Thunder just to get off some damage and hopefully get a Parahex, because I know his Earthquake won't kill me from this range because it's a Fortress and it probably doesn't have attack EVs. So that's what I do. I go for the Thunder, and luckily I actually get the Parahex, which is pretty funny. And yeah, he gets paralyzed same turn, so he doesn't get to do anything, and I get to keep my Jirachi. So this turn, I hard switch into my Tornadus, predicting the Earthquake again just to take me out, but he actually goes for Rapid Spin and gets a crit, which is kind of funny, because, you know, lol, Rapid Spin crit. And yeah, he really doesn't have anything to take a Specs Hurricane in the rain, so I'm just going to go straight for that. And now he goes into the Politoed, and I should have known, hey, he's Choice Scarf, but just by the way he brought it in. But I'm stupid and I wasn't paying attention, and I just clicked Hurricane anyway. Thankfully though, by some crazy happening, his Ice Beam actually isn't going to kill me off, and I'm able to live it. I don't know if he just didn't have special attack EVs or what, but there you go. His Ice Beam did not kill me, so I'm able to actually preserve this Tornadus. I figure he's probably just going to Bullet Punch, although he could have pursued it like I said. So fearing that, I'm just going to switch out, not wanting to risk taking the Bullet Punch. And either he doesn't have the pursuit or he just chooses not to go for it, because he switches into the Scizor, Bullet Punches the Politoed, and he finally U-turns to take it out. So my Politoed is finally down, as this turn he's going to go into his Clefable on the U-turn. And now I know my Jirachi can set up on this thing because I am able to make 101 HP substitutes, and he's shown me his offensive move is going to be the Seismic Toss, meaning I'll always be able to take at least one Seismic Toss with my substitute still intact, and I should be able to set up to an okay degree and hopefully go from there. So that's what's going to happen. I set up a sub, he goes for S-Toss, I get up a Calm Mind, he goes for S-Toss again, and there's not too much I can do about that. So I think I'm actually going to speed this part up, because this is just a bunch of me trying to sub and get boosts. And I think I'm going to go for Thunder here, trying to get a Parahax because I'm dumb and I forget about Magic Guard. Yeah, that's exactly what happens. I do get the Parahax, but because he has the Magic Guard, he's never going to be fully paralyzed, although his speed's still halved, but his Clefable is already super slow, so that really doesn't help me at all. And I'm just dumb and I forget about abilities, but it's whatever. So now I figure he's probably just going to leave this thing in until eventually my Jirachi dies or something like that. So my best play is to just keep going for sub and fishing for the Spidef drop with the Psychic, which for some reason I just can't seem to get. And I mean, I'm at +1 and Psychic looks to be about a 3-hit KO, but from behind the substitute, I'm not going to be able to get out of this scenario with the substitute still up, which would have been ideal for me. But I mean, at this point, it's whatever. So I'm just going to keep going for Psychics. I finally take that thing out. It's a 3-hit KO, and down goes the Clefable, with my Jirachi not behind a substitute, which, like I said, isn't ideal. So he goes into a Scizor this turn, and I figure Thunder is going to be my best play. Once again, trying to get the Parahack, because I'm a Haxing noob. I do get it, which is pretty funny. And I am max HP, so I don't know if this U-turn crit mattered. But more than likely, it probably didn't. But keep in mind, he's not Choice Banded, and U-turn does not get boosted by Technician. So, yeah, that U-turn crit probably didn't matter, but it might have all the same. I really don't know. Anyway, he goes into his Gyarados, and now we have that situation I mentioned way earlier on in the battle, where it's a Gyarados versus Jinx matchup. And I know that I can set up substitutes freely on him because his moves are Sub, Dragon Dance, Waterfall, and Earthquake. And I know because I have Dry Skin, he can't hit me with Waterfall, and he's already shown me a bounce, meaning he has 7 left. Meaning, I can set up to +6 with relative impunity, and granted I can break his subs, I can stall him out of bounces way faster than he can stall me out of Ice Beams and Nasty Plots, Lovely Kisses, substitutes, and that kind of thing. So basically it's going to be my game from here because, like I said, his coverage move is the bounce, and he set up DD, so he's faster than me. So every time he bounces, all I really have to do is go for sub on the next turn, and he's not going to be able to kill me because, as you see here, he's going to go for the bounce. He has to, and I'm just going to set up another substitute because I'm slower, which is, like I said, ideal conditions. That's exactly what I wanted. So at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and speed things up because he does decide to be that guy for a while, you know, trying to outstall me. But at the end of the day, he really had no chance because, like I said, Dry Skin is a really underrated ability. And yeah, that water immunity really gets to, you know, I really get to show off that water immunity in this game. As he does get to, I think, +2 with Dragon Dances. It might be +3. Yeah, it is +3. 2.5 is +3. Anyway, yeah. We're going to be in this situation for a little while where he's going to continually bounce. I'm just going to continually go for Ice Beam until eventually I hit him. And yeah, I think at some point he finally realizes there's no point in doing this. Although he told me he ends up misclicking. I'm getting a little ahead of the narration, I know, but there's not much left to say about this battle. Anyway, we're getting to a point where he's just about out of bounces, and I guess he forgets he's not behind a sub because he decides to set up another Dragon Dance, and I'm finally going to be able to take that thing out. He told me it was a misclick, but at the end of the day, it didn't really matter because, like I said, I could easily have outstalled that thing, and now he's going to go into his last, which is the Scizor, which is paralyzed, and I'm just going to go for the Ice Beam, and that's going to be the game. Yeah. Jinx clutch. which is pretty cool. I really do love this Pokemon. I really think it's underrated. And, you know, if you know how to use it, Jinx can be a great member on any team because it sleeps things, and the water immunity is just too good to pass up on. Dry Skin is a great ability. Anyway, the reason I had to win with my Jinx behind a substitute is because Tornadus and Mamoswine both died to Bullet Punch, and maybe Tentacruel could have taken 2 one-on-one, but I didn't see anything aside from Bullet Punch, and Utool was burned, so at the end of the day, my safest option was to just go for the win with my Jinx. So that's exactly what happened, and I did come out on top, as you see. So that's probably going to do it for the battle. What do I have to ramble about at the end of this video? Once again, thank you guys for 80 subscribers. It really means a lot. If you have a suggestion for some kind of 80 subscriber special I could do for you guys to show my gratitude, go ahead and leave it in the comments. I will definitely be reading them all, as I normally do. Make sure to give this video a like if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share this video with your friends if you think it's good and you want them to see it. And feel free to check out my opponent's channel. The link will be in the description, as well as the link to my secondary channel. And he doesn't really upload battles, but he's a part of the Pokemon community, so, you know, you're more than welcome to go show him some love as well. And yeah, I can't really think of anything else to talk about, so I think I'm just going to end this one here. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching. Always awesome. And yeah, stay tuned, because I've got a backlog of content that I really need to start putting out. So, my name is Ryan, as you know, and I'll see you guys next time.